Good morning, welcome back to another video. Let's get started. So, today is Wednesday. I was off on a course Monday and Tuesday to get my telehandler operative certificate, which I got, so that's all good. So we're back in the workshop today. Now we've got the Disco V8 on the lift, well, in the bay, not on the lift. The customer really wants it back on the road ASAP. I couldn't find any second-hand working compressors at the Billing Off-Road show last weekend, and the guy I've rung locally that does Disco spares hasn't got one. Well, hasn't replied to me. He said he'd call me back if he had a good one, which he hasn't called me back. So I stripped my chassis down the other day and they had springs on, so I'm going to put springs on the back for now, go into the ECU and turn off air suspension, and then we will put it through an MOT, so at least he can use it until we can get airbag parts, or air suspension parts, sorry, and then we can put it back on the road. There is a fault for the shuttle valve. Now it's putting up the 3 amigos and saying there's a shuttle valve problem, so we'll try and get round to that as well. But for now, we're just going to get it on springs, so it's actually sort of drivable as such. So, right, let's get this jacked up and the wheels off. Right, I've got it lifted up and then obviously on axle stands at the back, so the axle can drop free. I am just waiting for the air compressor to charge up, and then I'll bosh the wheels off and we'll get started. Okay, so just to show you, I have dropped the shock bolt out, so the axle's got a bit more movement, although it didn't have enough movement to get the spring in, so I've had to get the dreaded spring compressors out. Anyone who's used them before knows it is a very nervous thing to use. So they are clamped, and I quickly put the spring in there just to be on the safe side. But anyway, I've got to take them off. I also fitted the spring plate first, so that the axle has threaded holes for those, so they just bolt down. And to start with, obviously, you've seen this before on my Defender, the bags just twist 90 degrees and then lift off. So we're going to remove those spring compressors. We've also got a spring rubber isolator in the top. But yeah, we're going to remove the spring clamps, bolt the shock back on, bolt the wheel back on, and then we'll move around the other side. Right, so we've got the ignition on. It's lit up like a Christmas tree, and I've selected a 2000 Discovery V8. I don't know if you can see the screen, hang on. There we go. Right, so we've got the full complement of things. So we're going to go up to self-leveling suspension. Tick. ECU needs to be identified. Click. Right, then we go into functional tests, special functions, self-leveling suspension. Come on. Suspension configuration, and it says the slab's ECU is currently configured for air spring suspension. Please continue to configure the ECU for coil spring suspension. So continue. Right, warning, you're about to configure an air spring vehicle to coil spring suspension. This operation was not intended to be a service change and may result in vehicle failing to comply with legal requirements for road use. If you are sure you want to proceed with reconfiguration, press continue. Continue. Right, if you configure this vehicle for coil spring suspension and then reconfigured back to air springs, production flags will be set, and also vehicle will have to be fully calibrated using blocks. That's fine. Continue. Updating SLS configuration in EEPROM. Switch off ignition, wait 1 to 2 seconds, switch ignition on, wait 1 to 2 seconds, and continue. So, I'm going to need 2 hands for this, so hang on a minute. Right, so I press continue, and once I've done that, and we've gone back to the main screen. So, we'll exit out of this. Actually, what we'll quickly do, we'll go back in and just have a look. Suspension configuration. Yeah, coil springs, that's fine. Exit. So then we'll exit all out of this, and then all the lights should go, well, a load of the lights will go off. We'll probably still have the 3 amigos, obviously, because we've got the shuttle valve problem, but I'll exit out of this and then I'll come back. Right, so that's changed now. We've just got to sort this shuttle valve problem out, and it is actually the shuttle valve. So we have got to take off the ABS unit. We've got to unbolt it, and the cables, the pipes that go around all need to be unclipped so we can move it enough out the way. So that's a job we're going to do in a second. But I picked up some goodies at the billing show. We have an airbox bracket for a TD5, a TD5 airbox, and a TD5 manifold. Because I'd like to change to a D-webbed manifold, and it was cheaper to buy one done that was D-webbed and machined than go and get one done myself. So there's obviously a guy who does them very regularly on all the forums. He had a stall at billing. I took one with me just in case he was there, and he was. So because he gives you a bit of a credit back, obviously, to repair and then to sell on again. So yeah, that was fairly cheap. They were a lot cheaper than eBay, put it that way. So I'm happy with them. We also got Defender lower dashboard, Defender top dashboard, Defender corner, albeit left-hand drive one, but all it is the holes for the switches, so we can cover that or put a USB in there. And we got the two dash pod sides. Now this is for the green one. He needed a dashboard, and these were a really good price at billing. So I sent him the pictures, told him the price, he's paid the price, and I've brought them home. So I suppose when we get a chance, we'll start fitting them in and trying to get the truck together. I do need to buy the right ignition barrel for it though. So that's another thing. But anyway, that was another bargain we got a billing. Right, so to get the shuttle valve out, you have 3 4.5mm Allen bolts. Once you've undone the 3 10mm that hold the bobbins to the frame and you've pulled the wiring out, you can lift it up just enough to get your hand underneath to undo the 3 Allen bolts. And there is your shuttle valve. Try and get in the light. So you can see the 3 holes there where the Allen bolts went through. And this is what is called a shuttle valve. That little plug with a purple seal on, you just got to pull out from the bottom of the ABS unit. So now this is off, let's do the modification. Right, so with the shuttle valve out, you've got to strip back a piece of wire on each one and solder in a piece of wire on each one. So I've soldered them, stripped it back, soldered them in. I'm going to obviously tape them up in a minute, but let's just do a continuity check to make sure that they're connecting to the correct pins. So hang on. Right, so we're on continuity. So the red one first needs to be on the right hand pin, making the noise. It's not working on the other one, which is good. So now the other cable, working on that one, not on that one, so that's good. Right, so the continuity is working, they're soldered. Let me seal them up and show you what's next. Right, so the next job I did was drilled the 2 little holes on the back of the unit, bigger to accept the cable. And as you can see, that sits back in there, or you can't, that sits back in there and the cable goes through the hole. So I'm just going to double check the continuity between that and the end of the wires. Just now it's sat in there in its home. And then I think we can start putting it back together and then work out the rest of the wiring of where these two go. Okay, so with your shuttle valve bolted back in, I've not actually fixed this down yet, it's just resting on its mounts. You need to pull the yellow wire with the green trace out of the main plug loom off of here, and then strip back some of the insulation and put the red wire that I put onto here. And then obviously I'm going to take that up, put it back in the conduit, and then this one needs to go to earth. So we'll make a little earth point for this in a second. But first of all, I just need to strap that up and put that one back. And with it all back together, we have no more lights. Success. Well, the non-runner is running, so I'm confused. Let's have a look inside. Nothing's working on the dash. Everything is untoward. 116,000 miles. And we've got some kind of double din head unit, wood everywhere, heated seats, air con. I think we have an electrical problem, to be honest. But anyway, let's see if the gearbox worked. In reverse, handbrake off. Yes, we are driving. Huh. Okay, so let's put the bonnet down and see if we've got a bit of an extended drive. Before I do, it sounds pretty sweet, to be fair. There's not a lot of water in it, but yeah, it doesn't sound untoward. Right, let's have a quick drive. I took it for a little drive down the track, and yes, all the gears work. Well, all the gears that I could get into. The battery, on the other hand, was down to 2 volts this morning, so that's never going to come back. So I've nicked the one off the BRM turbo, and that had 12.5 in. I've just had the charger on it. It's at 13.7 at the moment. But to get that one out, it was stuck. The battery tray, the battery clamp was just spinning, and to get to it, it's underneath. So I had to remove the battery tray with the battery on it, get it out. Luckily there was no bolt in here, otherwise that would have been a nightmare, but I have put one back. And what I've done is put a bolt through and a very thin nut, and I've grinded the back of the clamp, so hopefully when that now bolts on, we'll be able to have the battery on there. So I'm going to put the battery on there with the charger, and then we'll do a code read and see what we can get, and see if having a decent battery on there fixes any of the electrical gremlins inside. So let's get it connected up. All right, so that battery's in there and connected up. It is only a small one. It's not the right one, obviously, but it should do for now. I've just connected the battery back up, and it's 13.2, so that's got enough. And the clamp is doing its job. So that's in there. So that's that job done. I need to chuck a bit of water in it because it's below the minimum. And also the bolt is missing from here. So I need to put a bolt in there if I can. And then, yeah, we'll start it up and then turn it off and do the code reading. There was no thread or anything in there, so I've drilled it out a bit more and put a riv nut in. So now I can bolt that down securely. So that's that job. All right, so I've just noticed one thing. Obviously I've gone through it all with the code reader, cleared all the codes that I could. It won't let me clear the ABS faults. But on the spare key is a key ring for a local garage that I go to for all my MOTs, and I'm very good friends with them. So I've just rung them up. The last bill, obviously they're not going to tell me any personal details of who owns it, even though I got it off the owner, but still. I didn't ask for any of that, I just asked what they'd done. The last bill was just under £2,000 to have 4 new tyres, drive shaft, bushes, and a wiring repair done because the rev counter wouldn't work, the temperature gauge stayed at maximum, and all the ABS lights were on. So they've already done this repair once, and it was due to rodent damage. Now, if you look, the loom's here, and it goes down into the car there. You can see all these bite marks. You can see a bite mark there. And when you come through, we've got all this here. So, I wonder if the rodent had obviously done the damage. They put it in the garage have fixed it, and it's been tested and working. They've been using it for a while. This was back in 2022, by the way, so it's 3 years ago. They took it home, and either the mouse hadn't left the building or the vehicle, or it knew its way back in and has done the same again. So the question is, do we try and fix it? I'll have to take all this out and see what's down here, and I'll have to obviously get under the dash. I mean, it's 116,000. It's obviously had a lot of money spent on it. It's an HSE. I think it could be a good car. I mean, I haven't looked at the values of them. They're probably not worth bugger all, but it might be worth saving. It owes me 60 quid at the moment for it to be delivered here. If it's got that much history with it, that many receipts that I'm yet to get, I've been promised by the old owner that they will sort them out for me. They just didn't have them at the time I collected it. Is it a good car to keep? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to let the battery carry on charging, even though it's green now, so it's done. I'm going to get on with doing the Defender. But let me know what you think and where we go from here. I've just spoke to the actual technician who dealt with it. He said it was the driver's side pint. Even though there's loads of chew marks over there, he said the driver's side. So I said, look, and it makes me wonder if that's why the bottle wasn't bolted in, because there are lots of chewed wires down there. You can see, oh, that red bit there, that's all chewed up. So what we're going to have to do is pull the bottle back out and try and get to all this. I'm not going to today. I'm going to leave it as it is for a minute, because I need to do need to get that airbox in the Defender really. So I'm going to leave this here for the day, and now I know where I've got to look. Okay, with a lot of guessing and looking at the pictures that I took at billing of a bulkhead with the mounts on, we have them drilled and fitted, although the bottom ones are just wound in. I've just done 6mm holes and wound them in there for a minute because I haven't got a right angled riv nut tool, but for the purpose of testing that's fine for now. So I'm going to rest the airbox in there now and see how it fits, and then obviously as long as that's all good, we'll have to take it all back out again, put the old air filter on and get hold of a right angled riv nut tool, because mine just won't fit in there. So let's see if it fits. Right, I have sourced a riv nut, 90-degree riv nut tool from someone on the estate, so that's all now fitted properly. I'm just sealing up the bottom of the airbox. This was on there, but obviously it's a water drain, and if we put the snorkel on, we don't want a water drain. So there was a little hole there. I don't know what that was for, but it was moulded into the airbox, so that's been done, and I put a big penny washer in there and sealed it all in. So that's that bit done. So tomorrow, once that's all dried, we'll get it back in there and we will work out the obviously the wires. We'll have to tie them all up to get them away from the airbox. The water pipes will go around the box, but I think in time they might rub, so I think I'm going to have to extend them at some point. So yeah, we will come back to this in the morning. Right, the airbox is all plumbed in. We've got a bit of silicone joiner. We've connected up the airflow meter and the whatever that's called. It's completely escaped my mind, but that's connected. Everything's done. So yeah, I just had to reroute the positive wires. I'm going to redo that, I think. I haven't really got the time to do it now because I need the car this afternoon. But I think I'll have to end up moving that over into that space so the wires can go in it nicely, and it'll tidy it up a lot as well. And it means I can get the airbox lid on and off a bit easier. It is a bit tight there. So yeah, I'll have to move that. But I've got 2 wires that are this side that won't reach over there at the moment. So I need to just, you know, plan that and do that. But for now it works. So I think we need to test it really, just to see whether we get as much smoke as we did before, and that everything kind of works and that the airflow meter's right, because that's the one that comes with the airbox. My one's down there, so we'll test this one. If we have any problems, we'll swap them over. So yeah, let's have a quick go. Right, I've been out for a test drive. It's still a bit smoky, but obviously that's to do with the map, so maybe that can be changed in a later date, just with a different type of map, so we get a bit less smoke, but it definitely goes all right. So yeah, so I'm happy with that. So that is it for this week. Just to show, I washed the MG as well, so that's all nice and clean now. So yeah, so that's the end of this week. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share. We've got tea on the tailgate tomorrow, which is a Land Rover meet in Essex. And then next week, who knows? We'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks guys.